The casket gleamed like a polished lie under the fluorescent hum of the funeral home chapel in rural Ohio, where the air smelled of wilted lilies and unspoken regrets. Ethan knelt before it, his knees grinding into the thin carpet, and whispered, "I should have told you sooner," his voice cracking like thunder over cornfields. But it was too late. Jack Harlan was gone, felled by a heart attack at 68, leaving behind a son who finally had the guts to love out loud, even if it was in the shadow of death. Ethan rose, wiping his palms on his slacks, and turned to Alex, who stood rigid in the back pew, his boyfriend of 7 years looking like he'd been carved from the same unyielding Midwest stone. The room buzzed with aunts and cousins who'd flown in from Cleveland and Chicago, their murmurs a low drone of condolences that masked the undercurrent of judgment Ethan had always felt simmering beneath the surface. Jack Harlan had been the rock of Harlan Hardware, the local feed store that supplied every farmer from Toledo to Youngstown, a man whose handshake could seal a deal and whose silence could crush a soul. He'd raised Ethan alone after Mom's cancer took her when Ethan was 10, teaching him to fix engines and field-dress deer, but never once broaching the chasm that widened when Ethan came out at 18. With the service droning on, Pastor Ellis reciting verses about eternal rest that felt like indictments, Ethan's chest tightened. Alex caught his eye. Those steady blue ones that had anchored him through bar fights in college and the quiet panic of their first Pride parade. Alex, with his easy laugh and calloused hands from welding at the auto shop, had been the one constant in a life of approximations. They'd met at a dive bar in Akron, bonding over cheap whiskey and shared stories of small-town escapes. 7 years later, here they were, still fighting for a future in a world that sometimes felt like it was closing in. As the pallbearers, mostly Jack's old hunting buddies, hoisted the casket, Ethan slipped his hand into Alex's, squeezing hard enough to bruise. The gesture wasn't lost on the room. Cousin Rita's gasps sliced through the organ's mournful swell. But Ethan didn't care. Grief had stripped him bare, and in that rawness, clarity bloomed like blood from a fresh wound. He pulled Alex aside into the vestibule, the heavy oak door thudding shut behind them, muffling the hymns. "Alex," Ethan said, his voice a rasp, fumbling in his pocket for the ring he'd bought on impulse last week, a simple silver band etched with a compass rose, symbolizing the way Alex had always pointed him true north. "I can't do this without you. Not anymore. Marry me. Right here. Right now. If you have to." Alex's eyes widened, a flicker of shock giving way to that soft, crooked smile that could melt steel. "Jesus, your dad's funeral. It's perfect," Ethan cut in, dropping to one knee on the scuffed linoleum, the ring glinting under the harsh bulb like a defiant star. "Because life's too damn short, and I almost lost you last year to that idiot foreman who outed us at work. Dad's gone, and all I have left is this us. Say yes, Alex. Please." Tears welled in Alex's eyes, mirroring Ethan's own. He nodded, pulling Ethan up into a fierce embrace, their lips meeting in a kiss that tasted of salt and stolen breaths. "Just good." "Yes." The proposal rippled through the family like a stone skipped across a frozen pond. Whispers turned to stares as they re-entered the chapel hand in hand, the ring catching light on Alex's finger. Uncle Harlan, Jack's brother, muttered something about disrespect, but Ethan met his glare with steel in his spine. For once, he wasn't hiding. Not from the family who'd whispered about his phase since high school. Not from the ghost of his father who died without ever saying, "I love you," to the man Ethan had become. The reception dragged in the church basement. Folding tables laden with ham sandwiches and Jell-O salads under banners reading, "In loving memory." Ethan nursed a plastic cup of watery punch. Alex at his side. Their thighs pressed together under the table like a secret vow. Relatives milled about, offering half-hearted hugs, their eyes darting to the ring as if it were a live grenade. "You two been together long?" Aunt Marlene asked, her voice syrupy with false cheer, as she refilled her coffee. 7 years, Alex replied evenly, his arms slung casual around Ethan's chair. "Feels like a lifetime." Marlene's smile faltered. "Well, that's sweet." Jack always hoped Ethan would settle down. You know, find a nice girl. Give him grandkids. The words landed like a slap, but Ethan swallowed the retort bubbling up. Instead, he forced a nod. "Dad wanted a lot of things. We're just trying to honor the good ones." As the afternoon waned, the lawyer arrived, Mr. Bus, the same pastor's brother, clutching a manila envelope like it held state secrets. A word? About the will. They stepped into the pastor's office. A cramped space smelling of old books and candle wax. Alex waited outside, thumbs hooked in his belt loops, while Ethan sat across from Ellis, the weight of inheritance pressing down like the casket lid. "Your father was meticulous," Ellis began, adjusting his glasses. "The estate, Harlan Hardware. The house on Elm. The cabin up in Hocking Hills, it's all yours. Ethan. No debts. Clean title. But there's a condition." Ethan's stomach nodded. Jack had always been a planner. Spreadsheets for everything from seed planting to Sunday sermons. "What kind?" Ellis slid the document across the desk. "He wants you to run the store for 5 years. Keep it in the family name. If you do, a trust fund kicks in, $500,000 for starting a family." Ethan scanned the fine print, his pulse thudding. Starting a family? What does that even mean? The lawyer cleared his throat. "It's vague on purpose. Jack consulted me last month. Said it was about legacy. But there's a codicil. Private. For your eyes only." He handed over a sealed letter. Jack's scrawl across the front. "To my son, Ethan, read alone." Ethan's fingers trembled as he broke the wax seal. The room blurred, the words swimming into focus. "If you're reading this, I'm dirt in the ground, and you've got the weight of Harlan on your shoulders. The store's yours. Boy, the blood, and cuss words we poured into it. But I know you better than you think. I saw the way you looked at that boy, Alex. The nights you came home late from friends. Didn't raise no fool. I'm sorry, son. Sorry for the silence. For the lessons I skipped on what matters most. Cancer took your ma. And fear took me. Fear you'd end up alone like I did after her. But legacy ain't bloodlines, it's choices. The trust? It's for you and Alex. The wedding, the house, whatever makes you whole. Use it to build, not just survive. One catch, forgive me first. I tried to fix you once, those pamphlets in your room. The retreat, I booked and canceled. God forgive me. I was wrong. You're my son. Gay or straight or whatever the hell. Love like I should have loved you. The tears hit the paper, smudging the ink. Ethan choked on a sob. The room spinning. All these years. The distance. The unspoken barbs, it hadn't been hate. It was Jack's own buried shame. A mirror held up too late. He emerged from the office, envelope clutched to his chest, and found Alex pacing the hall. What is it? You okay? Ethan pulled him close, burying his face in Alex's neck. He knew. All along. And he wanted this for us. The revelation hung between them like grace. But as they drove back to the old Harlan house that night, rain slicking the windshield, wipers slapping rhythm like a heartbeat, Ethan couldn't shake the undercurrent of something unfinished. The will's condition loomed, 5 years at the store. Harlan Hardware wasn't just a job, it was a tether to the past. To the man Jack had been, and the one Ethan feared becoming. Little did he know. The true twist waited in the attic trunk Jack had labeled for when you're ready, letters from a half-brother Ethan never knew existed. One who'd clawed his way out of the same conservative cage, only to return with a vengeance that would shatter their fragile peace. The rain had turned the gravel drive to mud by the time Ethan and Alex pulled up to the Harlan house, its sagging porch light flickering like a dying firefly. The two-story Victorian on Elm Street had been Jack's anchor, its creaky floors echoing with memories of oil changes in the garage and late-night talks over Pabst Blue Ribbons that never quite bridged the gap. But it felt like a museum of half-truths, the air thick with the scent of varnish and regret. They tumbled inside, shedding coats and shoes in the foyer, Alex kicking the door shut with his boot. That letter, he said, voice low as he wrapped arms around Ethan's waist from behind. Your old man. He got it right? In the end. Ethan leaned back into him, the warmth seeping through his damp shirt. Yeah. But 5 years? The store's a beast. Remember when Dad made me work summers? I'd come home smelling like fertilizer and resentment. Alex chuckled, nuzzling his ear. Ooh, resentful? You're the guy who fixed my truck at midnight last winter. No questions asked. His hand slid up, fingers tracing the line of Ethan's ribs. A touch that spoke of countless nights when words failed. But tonight, grief laced their intimacy with an edge, like lovemaking in a storm. They moved to the kitchen, the heart of the house where Jack had taught Ethan to fry walleye and mend broken dreams with duct tape. Ethan poured bourbon from the cabinet, Jack's stash. Half empty now, and they clinked glasses, the amber liquid burning a path to forgotten corners. To legacies, Alex toasted, his eyes holding Ethan's with that quiet intensity that had hooked him from day one. To us, Ethan countered, pulling him onto the worn linoleum for a slow kiss, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces worn smooth by time. It escalated there, urgent and tender, clothes pooling at their feet as they migrated to the living room couch, the one with the Afghan Jack had crocheted in secret after Mom died. Laughter bubbled up midway, Alex's sock getting caught on the coffee table, turning to gasps as they lost themselves in each other, the proposal ring cool against heated skin. Afterward, spent entangled, Ethan traced patterns on Alex's chest, the rise and fall a rhythm he could live by. I meant it today. The proposal. Not just heat of the moment. Alex propped on an elbow, his face soft in the lamplight. I know. And I meant yes. But your family. That look from your uncle? It's gonna be a shitstorm. Evan sighed, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Let it. We've dodged worse. Remember my mom's side at Thanksgiving 22? Cousin Barry calling you, that friend, like you were a stray dog? Alex snorted. Yeah. And you shut him down with that line about love being the only family that counts. Poet. Harlan. Sleep came fitful. Dreams haunted by Jack's voice, gruff commands from the store counter mixing with the letter's apology. Dawn broke gray. And Ethan woke to coffee brewing, Alex humming an old Springsteen tune in the kitchen. Normalcy. Fragile as eggshell. The reading of the full will happen that morning in Alice's office downtown. A brick building sandwiched between the feed store and the Five and Dime. The family crammed in, Uncle Harlan puffing a cigar outside, Aunt Marlene dabbing her eyes with a lace hanky. Alice droned through assets. The house, the truck, the store's inventory valued at $450,000. Murmurs of approval rippled. Jack had played it smart. No loose ends. Then the condition. The beneficiary must operate Harlan Hardware for a minimum of 5 years, maintaining the family name and traditions. Upon fulfillment, the supplemental trust activates. Uncle Harlan leaned forward, his walrus mustache twitching. Traditions? Jack meant keeping it straight. Solvent. No funny business. The room tensed, eyes flicking to Ethan and Alex, who sat shoulder to shoulder in the back. Ethan's jaw set. Funny business? Like loving who I love? Dad's letter was clear. He wanted this. Ellis cleared his throat. The letter was personal. The will is law. But there's more. Jack left instructions for a trunk in the attic. For Ethan. When the time's right. Said to give you the key now. Back home. They hauled the trunk down, dusty oak. Brass latches scarred from years in the rafters. Alex wiped sweat from his brow. Muscles flexing under his tee. Feels like Pandora's box. You sure? Ethan inserted the key. The lock clicking like a confession. Inside, yellowed letters bound in twine. A stack of photos faded to sepia, and a leather journal with Jack's initials burned into the cover. The first letter, dated 1992, Dear Jack, I can't keep pretending. Ma and Pa would roll over if they knew, but I'm leaving for the city. Don't look for me. Tell Ethan, when he's old enough, that blood don't always mean family. Forgive me, brother. Tom. Ethan's breath hitched. Uncle Tom? He split when I was a kid. Dad said he was chasing dreams in California. Alex flipped through photos. A young Jack and Tom, arms slung around each other at a county fair. Grins wide as the Ohio River. Then Tom alone. In a San Francisco apartment. Rainbow flag pinned to the wall. A lover's arm around his waist, another man. Laughing into the lens. Holy shit, Alex whispered. Your dad had a gay brother. And he never said. Deeper in the trunk. The journal, Jack's handwriting. Entries spanning decades. 1995. Tom's gone 2 years. Found his obit in the Chronicle, HIV. Buried him myself in the family plot. No service. Told folks it was cancer. Can't let Ethan know. Not yet. Boy's got enough shadows. Ethan slammed it shut. Chest heaving. He lied. To everyone. Buried his own brother like a secret. Alex pulled him into a hug. Strong and steady. Hey. He was scared. Like you said in the letter, fear took him. But the hurt festered as days blurred into funeral aftermath. The store reopened. Ethan behind the counter amid sacks of seed and rakes, fielding condolences laced with side-eye. Alex helped after shifts, stocking shelves with quiet efficiency, their stolen kisses in the storeroom a bomb against the grind. 2 weeks in, the bomb dropped. A letter arrived, postmarked Ethan. I'm Thomas Harlan Jr. Your cousin? No, your half-uncle's son. Dad, your Uncle Tom, left me everything before he died. But Jack? He stole it. The will you're reading? I'm coming for what's mine. The store. The name. All of it. See you in court. TJ. Harlan. Betrayal. Sharp as a gut punch. Jack hadn't just hidden Tom, he'd erased him. Funneling inheritance meant for Tom's line into his own, leaving Ethan a pawn in a decades-old grudge. TJ's photo enclosed, mid-30s, sharp suit, eyes like Tom's, fierce, unyielding. That night, Ethan confronted the journal again, pages spilling truths like blood. Jack had known about Tom's will, altered documents after his death to protect the family legacy. Protect from what? From a gay man's son claiming the straight Harlan throne? Alex found him at midnight, hunched over the kitchen table, bourbon bottle half gone. Talk to me. It's all lies, Ethan slurred, slamming the letter down. Dad proposed this future for us, but built it on theft. What if TJ wins? We lose everything. Alex knelt, cupping his face. Then we build again. Like we always have. But you gotta fight, for Jack's sake? Or cut him loose? Your call. The proposal's glow dimmed under this shadow. Love tested by ghosts. As TJ's lawyer circled like a vulture, Ethan wondered if forgiveness was a luxury he could afford, or if it was the only inheritance worth keeping. Court dates loomed like storm clouds over the flat Ohio horizon. The Harlan Hardware sign creaking in the wind as if protesting the farce unfolding inside. Ethan spent mornings tallying inventory, afternoons poring over Alice's frantic amendments to the will, evenings collapsing into Alex's arms, where doubt gnawed like termites in the floorboards. The proposal ring, once a beacon, now felt like a shackle, symbol of a future mortgaged on deception. TJ arrived unannounced on a crisp October Friday, striding into the store like he owned it already. With Tom's dark curls tamed into a lawyerly cut, he wore a tailored wool coat that screamed Ella. Money against the flannel-clad locals. Ethan Harlan? His handshake was firm. Eyes appraising, not hostile. Exactly, but laced with the weariness of old wounds. Yeah. You must be the ghost from California. TJ. Glancing at the counter cluttered with nails and notepads. Half ghost. Dad always said Jack was the keeper of secrets. Guess it's genetic. They talked haltingly over lukewarm coffee in the back office, Alex hovering in the doorway like a sentinel, his welder's hands clenched. TJ laid it out, Tom's will, probated in '95, leaving his modest estate, a trust from his graphic design gigs in the Castro, to any Harlan heirs. Jack had intercepted it, claiming Ethan as sole beneficiary, burying the evidence with Tom's ashes. Why now? Ethan asked, voice raw. 20 years later? TJ leaned back, rubbing his temple. Found the papers digging through Dad's stuff after my mom died last year. She was his partner, never married. 'Cause who did back then? Thought it was closure. Then I saw the store online. Your dad's obit. Figured it was time to claim my slice. Alex snorted. Slice? This ain't pie. It's Ethan's life. TJ's gaze softened on Alex, flicking to the ring. Fair. But Dad scraped for that trust, nights freelancing protest posters while dodging raids. Jack took it, 'cause he couldn't face what Tom was. Good. Proud. Gone too soon. The word gay hung. A bridge or a bomb. Ethan swallowed. I get it. He tried with me. Can't bullshit. Purse. Then nothing. But the letter, he apologized. Wanted me to have this for us. He nodded at Alex. TJ. Nodded slowly. Legacy's tricky. Mine's Dad's fight, Stonewall echoes. ACT up marches. Yours is. What? Cornfields and cover-ups. Ethan stood. Get out. We'll see you in court. But doubt seated. That night, as Alex grilled burgers on the porch, smoke curling into the chill air, Ethan cracked the journal again. Entries from 96, Tom's boy, 20 by now, wonder if he knows his pa loved fierce. Can't tell Ethan. Boys struggling, those looks from the team. The whispers. Better he thinks we're straight-line Harlans. Then, 2010, Ethan's home from college. Saw him with that kid from the dorm. Heart stopped. Sir. Booked the retreat. Cancelled it. Ma's voice, love them as they are. Good. So, what would you do? Tears blurred the page. Jack hadn't just hidden Tom, he'd mirrored him, wrestling his own acceptance in silence. The betrayal cut deeper, not theft, but a father's flawed shield. The lawsuit dragged into winter. Depositions in Cleveland's federal courthouse where fluorescent lights buzzed like angry bees. TJ's team painted Jack as a manipulator. Exhibits of forged signatures and buried obits. Ethan's side countered with the letter, arguing intent over technicality, the trust as Jack's redemption gift. Publicly, the town split. Farmers who'd bought seed from Jack for decades rallied at the store. Harlan stays Harlan, stickers on truck bumpers. But whispers grew, church ladies clucking about that lifestyle, tainting the name. A brick through the store window one frosty night. Sodom scrawled in red. Alex bore the brunt. Grease under his nails from double shifts to cover legal fees. They're cowards, he'd growl, bandaging a cut from flying glass. But privately, fractures showed. You ever think, if we bailed now, start fresh in the city? No ghosts. Ethan's heart seized. Bail? On the store? On us? This is our fight. Our fight. Alex echoed, voice cracking. Or yours? I'm the sidekick in this drama. Ring or no? The words landed like frostbite, numbing the warmth they'd built. Ethan pulled him close. Apologies tumbling. I'm scared. Losing the store means losing Dad, all of him. But losing you? That's the real grave. They made love that night with desperate edges. Bodies a battlefield of reassurance, nails raking backs. Whispers of forever against sweat-slick skin. But dawn brought no absolution. TJ. Proposing mediation. Off record. Family talk. They met at a diner off I-71. Vinyl booths sticky with syrup ghosts. No lawyers? Just 3 Harlan's nursing coffees under neon signs buzzing open 24/7. TJ slid photos across. Him as a kid with Tom at a beach. Rainbow kite soaring. Dad died ashamed of the hiding. Yeah. But more of leaving me nothing but stories. Jack took that security. I need to know why. Ethan exhaled. Journal excerpts photocopied in his pocket. He was protecting me. Thought if the town's hate touched Tom, it'd swallow me too. Buried the truth to build a wall. Alex spoke up. Voice steady. Walls don't hold love. They just echo. TJ studied him. Then Ethan. You're proposing? For real? Already did, Ethan said. Pride flickering. At the funeral. Dad's ghost cheering. I think. The beat. Then TJ. Healing. Ballsy. The trust was peanuts adjusted for inflation, maybe $50K now. I don't want the store. Acknowledgement. A plaque for Tom at the family plot. And half the cabin upstate. For Dad's memory. Relief flooded. Tentative as spring thaw. But as they shook on it, prelim papers to follow, Ethan caught the shadow in TJ's eye. There's more. Isn't there? TJ hesitated. One thing. Dad's last letter, to Jack, never sent. Said if you ever came out, tell you, be the man I couldn't be here. The diner spun. Ethan's world tilting. Betrayal inverted, not just Jack's theft, but a lifeline tossed across decades. Waiting for this moment. Back home. Snow dusting the eaves. Ethan and Alex stood on the porch. Breaths fogging the air. We did it, Alex murmured. Ring glinting as he laced fingers. Not yet, Ethan said. Pulling a velvet box from his coat. The second ring. Gold this time. 4 vows beyond proposals. Marry me proper? Courthouse. Tomorrow. No more waiting. Alex's yes was a sob. Their kiss sealing against the cold. But as joy crested, the phone rang. Ellis. Voice grave. Complication. TJ. Just amended. He's claiming all the estate. Says the proposal proves you're unfit. Moral clause, Jack buried in the original will. Climax crashed, not just legacy, but love weaponized. The betrayed son. Now the betrayer, using Ethan's truth against him to reclaim what AIDS and silence stole. The courthouse loomed stark against the January bleakness. Its marble steps slick with slush, mirroring the slide into chaos that had upended Ethan's world overnight. The moral clause, a archaic relic Jack had slipped into the will back in '98. Post Tom's death, beneficiary must uphold Harlan values, family, fidelity to traditional marriage. Breach forfeits all to named alternate, Thomas Harlan Jr. Jack's fear, codified into law. Now a noose around Ethan's neck. TJ's betrayal stung deepest, not the claim, but the method. The man who'd shared beach photos and half-smiles at the diner now wielded Ethan's proposal like a blade. His lawyer's filings citing the funeral engagement as public scandal undermining the Harlan name. Texts from TJ. That morning, sorry. Ethan. Business. Dad's ghost demands justice. Take the cabin, walk away clean. Alex paced the kitchen. fury etching lines around his mouth. That son of a bitch. We opened up. And he twists it? Fuck traditional, we're the tradition now. Ethan stared at the ring box on the table. Gold mocking silver. He thinks he's avenging Tom. But this hate. Dressed as righteousness. Ellis arrived at noon. Files splayed across the oak dining table like autopsy photos. We can fight the clause. It's discriminatory. Violates Obergefell. But it'll drag. Maybe years. Store stays open. But frozen assets mean no trust. No wedding fund. And if we lose? Alex pressed. Hand on Ethan's shoulder. The anchor in the storm. Ellis shrugged. Everything reverts to TJ. You'd have to buy it back. Pennies? Probably. But the name. Harlan Hardware becomes Harlan West or some shit. The weight crushed. The store wasn't bricks, it was Jack's ghost. Mom's recipes in the ledger margins. The summer Ethan learned to love the land despite its judgments. Losing it meant exile, not just from inheritance, but from roots twisted into thorns. That afternoon, Ethan drove to the family plot outside town. Snow-draped headstones huddling like conspirators. Jack's was fresh. Mound still raw, thumbs. Decades old. Unmarked save a temporary plaque from TJ's visit. Fennel. Wind whipping his coat. You built this cage for me? To keep me safe? Or, 'cause you couldn't face your own reflection? No answer. Save crows cawing judgment. But in the silence, clarity pierced. The will wasn't chains, it was choice. Fight for the husk. Or forge something true. Back home, he found Alex on the porch. Thermos steaming. Eyes red-rimmed. Called my folks in Pittsburgh. Visit. Stay with us till it blows over. Ethan's gut twisted. Till. Like we're refugees? Alex pulled him down beside him. The swing creaking protest. Till we build our own. I'm tired of scraping for scraps. Ethan. Love you, fifth. Like Tom. But this war? It's killing us. The fracture widened. Words unspoken since the proposal. Was their love resilient? Or brittle under legacy's boot? Ethan cupped Alex's face. Thumb tracing the scar from a childhood bike wreck. Don't. You're my north. But the store. It's all I have left of him. And me? Am I left over too? The question hung. A precipice. Ethan kissed him then. Slow and searching. Tasting doubt and devotion. No. You're the start. Mediation reconvened in February. A sterile conference room in Columbus smelling of stale donuts and desperation. TJ. Crossed the table. Tie loosened. Looking less conqueror than haunted. No lawyers this round, just family. You used it, Ethan said flat. Sliding the filing across. My proposal. Our life. TJ. Winced. Leverage. Dad taught me, fight dirty if they bury you. He paused. Eyes on the ring Ethan still wore. Saw your post online. Pride pic from last summer. You two at the lake. Looked happy. Real. Alex leaned in. Voice steel. Then why gut us? We could have shared. Co-owned the store. TJ. Rubbed his jaw. Because Jack didn't. He erased Dad, forged the will. Told the town cancer when it was AIDS. I grew up on welfare. Hearing Harlan like a curse. It's payback. Ethan's voice broke. Payback on a dead man? Or on me? For being me. Silence stretched, thick as courtroom tension. Then TJ said, pulling a faded envelope from his briefcase, Tom's unsent letter. Creases worn from readings. Read this. All of it. If you're reading, I'm dust. Don't grieve the Tell Ethan the truth. I loved a man, built a life in shadows, but fuck shadows. If he comes out, hug him. Tell him blood's just water, love's the river. And if you can't, let TJ know his uncles loved him, even broken. Forgive the gay in us both. Or don't. Just don't let it bury you. TJ's eyes glistened. He knew about you. Somehow. Waited for you to bloom. The room dissolved into sobs, Ethan's first. Then these. Alex bridging with a hand on both their shoulders. Walls crumbled. Not with legalese, but humanity's quiet siege. By dusk. Papers signed. Clause voided as unconstitutional, estate split, store to Ethan. Trust halved for TJ's community center in Tom's name. Cabin shared for family retreats. No winners, just survivors. Spring unfurled gentle. Dogwoods blushing along Elm Street. The wedding was small, courthouse steps. Alex in a borrowed suit. Ethan in Jack's old bow tie. Vows exchanged under a sky vast as forgiveness. In shadows and light. I choose you. TJ. Stood witness. Arm around a boyfriend he'd introduced shyly, Mark. A teacher with kind eyes. To Tom and Jack, he toasted later at the diner. Glasses clinking. Rivers. Not cages. Months later. Harlan Hardware thrived. Rainbow stickers on the window beside deer decals. The plaque in the plot for Tom, brother. Pioneer. Ethan ran it with Alex's help. Weekends welding custom signs. Nights planning their future. Adoption fund from the trust. A life unburied. One evening. Attic cleared. Ethan found the last relic. A home video. Jack and Tom as boys. Racing bikes down country lanes. Laughter tinny but timeless. He played it for Alex on the couch. Heads together. See, Ethan whispered. They were us. Once. Alex smiled, kissing his temple. And we're them better. In the end. The will hadn't meant theft or claws. It meant release. Jack's final gift, not gold, but grace. Unapologetic, carving paths through regret's stone. For Ethan, was enough, more than enough, to build on.